Good morning.
Morning.
What?
So now a quick word from our sponsors. Very cool.
Hi, this is Gail Rubenstein, the founder and CEO of Retail Resilient. Car dealers all over the country love working with us, and let me tell you why. We have two product solutions that they absolutely love using. The first product solution is a Facebook and Instagram school where we build out a curriculum for salespeople and managers. We teach them how to create new car offers, used car offers, and get pre-approved offers. We also have a campaign management program where we generate leads for them, and then they do what they do best, they sell cars. So we train their sales staff on how to handle social media leads. Our car dealers typically say to us, I had the highest grossing month in the history of my business. I'm up double in my volume year over year. We even had a client the other day that told me that he was absolutely blessed because he loved our customer service. Everyone at Retail Resilient works remotely from home. I hire only car people from all over the country, so I hire all A players. They're really good at what they do, and we absolutely love helping car dealers. So give us a try, give us a shout. Any opportunity, we would love to see if we're a fit to work with you.
Hi, this is Barry Jordan from whitegloveperformancegroup.com. I'd like to take a few moments of your time to share how we can make you more profitable. Dealerships all over North America are using our cloud-based power dialing platform, Touchpoint, to manage their outbound sales-generating phone calls. With Touchpoint, your agents can make up to 50 calls an hour. Leave a voicemail, send an email with a link to a video or to your website, all with a click of the mouse. We specialize in empowering your teams to make the calls that make the sales. How can Touchpoint help you increase profit? Check us out, whitegloveperformancegroup.com. That's whitegloveperformancegroup.com.
The road to a sale has never been easier. Introducing the 2-day sales process workshop. Whether it's giving your new employees a head start or re-energizing your sales team, everyone can benefit from this relational approach to sales. Attendees will learn to create an outstanding buying experience by aligning the sales process with the buying process and helping customers through the phases of selection, mental ownership, and commitment. With preset performance standards and accountability criteria, we teach the critical skills and behaviors necessary for long-term success, like making unforgettable first impressions to building lasting relationships that result in repeat and referral business. Through lectures, group discussions, PowerPoint presentations, and helpful Q&A sessions, everyone walks away with the knowledge and tools they need to succeed. Included are detailed workbooks with daily routines and framed certificates of accomplishment. Those we've trained have reported closing ratios up to 53.9% and sales volumes up to 235 units per year. Are you ready to maximize your sales team's potential with our 2-day sales process workshop? Contact Automotive Business Solutions today.
Thank you. So a couple books, Crushing YouTube by Joseph Hogue, full-time podcaster, and Podcast Launch. Jeff.
Good morning, AutoHub people. I had to do that. I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you joining us. Good afternoon to our friend John Latka in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where it's officially 10 after 12 noon. And we'll just start with our disclaimer. Just the views and opinions shared in this show are those of our guests, not necessarily ours. We just do this to cover our butt. Moving right along.
Yep, so welcome to the show about shows. So let's get started.
So joining us today, we have a bevy of very, very high-profile guests, and we appreciate everybody taking their time. Our first one we'll introduce is Fred Subprime Hero Leonards III, host of the Car Guy Coffee podcast in Louisville. Fred, having just freshly arrived off the houseboat in a one seriously hedonistic weekend, please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Fred, the Subprime Hero Leonards, man. I'm been in the automotive industry for almost 20 years. Love this business, absolutely, with a huge passion. I'm here to make a change. Our show is all about uplifting people, highlighting people that are out there doing amazing things in automotive industry, talking about their story, how they started and what drives them and what brings them to where they're going, and also what's coming up in the future. So we've had a lot of these people's faces that I see right now have been on my show, and a lot of these people are just, man, amazing. I'm so excited to be here right now. I'm very honored and blessed. I'm one half of the Car Guy Coffee podcast. Lou Ramirez, who would normally be right here and about this much shorter, be hanging out with me. But, he's in a different engagement right now doing some other things. But we just got back from that houseboat, had a blast. So happy to be here, man. Let's go. Let's get this thing rocking.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you very much. And we are humbled by your attendance and that fancy schmancy setup that you have there. Next, we're going to take a little trip up to the East Coast, to the New York contingent. So we got Bill Camastro, who's the dealer and GM of Gold Coast Cadillac in the greater New York City area, and creator and host of Level Up. Bill, thanks for joining us again. Take a moment and say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody, and especially hi, Jeff and Ian. Good to see you guys. Really pleasure to be here. I'm a car guy, true and true, businessman at heart, but car guy. And I love being on these types of roundtables and shows and so on, because after 35 years of doing this, the only way I can keep from becoming a dinosaur is to hear from everybody else and some of the smart people that are on here. I think three or four of the people on this show right now actually participate in the hashtag Level Up group, and we're not trying to conquer the world. We're just trying to think at the highest possible level, and shared information is we find the best way to do it. We don't have leaders. We don't have. We're all kind of participating together to get to the highest possible level of thinking, and to create the best experience for customers to want to do business with us. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate being part of this.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. And of course, with this being a show about shows, we've got some great personalities. And speaking of smart people, which you mentioned earlier, sticking in the New York area, we have Rudy El Patron Tremenio joining us. Thanks, Rudy, for being here. You were doing shows before we were all locked into our places. So please take a moment to anybody who doesn't know you and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I go by the name of El Patron. What's going on? My name is Rudy, 18 years in the car business, and I'm in Brooklyn. Used car leasing, got #1 in the country right now, kicking ass with that and selling a lot of exotics. But I'm all about the experience as well, right? It's about building the brand. Your brand is more important than the brand we sell, because at the end of the day, that's what people buy, and people buy people, right? So at the end of the day, if you show them and you give them exactly what you say you're gonna do online, they're gonna come into you, they're gonna stay loyal to you, and they're gonna send you all your friends. So every day I come in, I got a lot of people already hit me up on the DM, and that's really how I do most of my deals. So my best ROI is social media. It has worked for me the last 4 years, and that's like the only way, like now we're taking it to the next level. And it's about leveling up, right? It's about, this show, and Ian, and thanks for having me, of course. I love to grow every day. I don't know it all. I'm just a car guy. I want to make car deals, and I want to put cars on the road. The more cars we sell, the less problems we have, right?
And I forgot to mention to those of you who don't know him, he's not only El Patron, he's the managing partner of Brooklyn Volkswagen in that little, unknown place called Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, sir. Brooklyn in the house.
And now we take our little trip down south to Brad Paschal, who's the regional sales director south of Fixed Ops Digital, and he's the host of Fixed Op Fridays on Clubhouse in Amarillo, Texas. Brad, take a moment, say hi, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I'm the regional sales director for the South for Fixed Ops Digital. Also a part of the Level Up Club, and been on Fred's podcast, Car Guy Coffee, and El Patron's one of my clients. So I'm real connected to all three of these guys.
Terrific. Thank you again for taking the time. And last but not least, a member of the Fall League Challenge Club, probably by choice, unlike me, who is I have no choice, is Michael Cirillo, who's the CEO at Flex Dealer. And boy, I'm reading your LinkedIn thing. I don't know if I can get this in the hour show. Top-rated automotive podcast host of the Dealer Playbook. Michael, thanks for joining us. Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, everybody. I'm Michael. Good to be with all of you. I've watched most of your shows or listened to them, and I think you guys are doing some phenomenal stuff. Jeff, Ian, thanks so much for inviting me. Um, so, I've been hosting podcasts now since 2012, and I've been in the automotive business for about 23 years. My show, The Dealer Playbook's all about helping automotivepreneurs. I love what El Patron was saying about personal branding. It's all about helping people think outside the box so that they can see how powerful the business within the business can be. And one of the things that we do is we just bring in guests from a variety of industries. So not just automotive, but we'll bring people in, from a variety of different verticals so that we can really just round out our vantage point and level up. Glad to be here with you all of you.
Thank you. Is it true you're from Sherwood Park, Alberta?
I'm from Sherwood Park.
Nice. Another Canadian on a mostly American show. So thank you very much, everybody. And again, we appreciate you joining us in the show about shows. We're well into it. So Ian, take it away.
Yeah, Michael, maybe we'll start with you. What's the biggest benefit to dealers of your show?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing really is we want to bring them into contact with practitioners, not just inside of the business, but like I was just saying, outside of the business as well. So the opportunity to be able to learn how to negotiate from, power players, mastermind teachers, or hear marketing advice from guys like Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or any of these kind of players. So not only are they getting information from people inside the industry, maybe it's a David Spizak or Brian Benstock, but they're also then able to hear from a variety of thought leaders and business leaders in other verticals on a miscellany of topics, not just selling, right? Because I really think you can only go so far saying the same thing about how to be a good person and sell, but we want to bring them into contact with, leadership information and human resource information and how to get the most out of your people and grow and show tender care and concern for your people and culture and just all of these other topics that I think for too long, nobody on this call for sure, but for too long in the industry, we've just kind of written off as pie in the sky that doesn't really contribute. And so that's really kind of the big thing that we focus on with the Dealer Playbook.
Appreciate that. Fred, other than dancing, how does your show benefit dealers?
That's it. Literally it. No. No, I love to bring what it benefits for dealers is that you get to hear stories. I think that what we like to talk about is the great parts of the business. There's a lot of dealers out there struggling and they don't know what's going on. So you get somebody like El Patron on the show and he talks about how he started where he was at, literally an immigrant from another country, comes here without even being able to speak this language and finds a way to turn into the billion-dollar car guy, right? The number one used car leasing company guy in the world. I mean, come on, that's amazing. And he's not even just cracked the surface yet. He's still going. So to be able to hear those stories, I think it uplifts them and it gets them that thing. Okay, if I just put some more drive, maybe I need to get a hold of El Patron. He can mentor me or something like that. Connecting people. And I think that's the biggest thing is we've really connected a network of people. I mean, I see a lot of people here. I've had Russell Hill on the show, amazing. Michael Cirillo, man, one of the godfathers of the podcasting, thing here. I mean, absolutely. I follow him. I love him. Matter of fact, I appreciate the song you did the other day. That was amazing. He was killing the piano. Very talented guy. I mean, Scott Wayne. I mean, come on, Sandy. I mean, there's so many people here that I absolutely love, and it's just this is what it's about. It's about uplifting this business. It's about changing this business. So if you're a dealer and you're ready to make a change, come on my show. Let's talk about it. Let's get some things going, and I promise you, it will get you to that next level. It makes you feel good, and that's what to me. We're the difference between us and other things. We're about that fun. I guess if you look at it, we're more of that seriously silly. We're serious, but we're silly, right? And but we really enjoy this business and we love this business. So we want to make sure that everybody enjoys this business and loves this business too, so that our kids want to do this business and their kids want to do this business. And our customers, ultimately, they want to come in and do business with us, not with Carvana. So that's what it's about. So come check it out.
Fantastic. Next, El Patron. Rudy, what do you think?
I mean, listen, it's a platform, right? That's given, and I believe that you share ideas, and there's a lot of things that can come out of it. Some people are afraid to do it because there is no support system. Doesn't tell you if you're doing good, if you're doing bad, or you look silly on. I just like to throw shit up there, man, and listen. Most of the time, it had worked for me, and there's a lot of people that do follow me. Fred is one of them that we started. We actually met finally, right? And we started connecting, and all these people, all these opportunities that come, not only on LinkedIn, but I got to, you flew into the store, right? And I'm sure a lot had to do with the show. You know what I'm saying? All the way from Canada. So I think that sometimes you don't realize the power that you have behind that mic, behind that camera. And that's the reason why I love being on these shows, because there is always somebody listening. Like, I think we have like a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old just signed in. He's a super fan, and he wants to work for me one day when he turns 18. So those are the people that you make an example for, and they want to be, and get to that level. And they see you grind every day. And I show the people what I do at 5 in the morning when I'm up, when I'm going home. You know what I'm saying? How my day was and things like that. And I think that people can relate to you that way. Customers, right? They're just a guy that just want to, grind every day and make it happen. So they can relate to you in every little thing. So that's why I said personal branding is so important, because brand has a feeling. Some of you guys wear Nike only. Some of you guys wear Adidas. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason why you only buy that brand, right? You feel attached to it and things like that. So in the car business, has to be the same way. And most people don't do it because they relied on the dealership to bring you all the traffic, and I don't rely on that. And I teach my guys pretty much to bring their own clients, build your own brand and become successful. Because if you want to stay, this is my career, right? This is not like fly by. I'm going 18, 20 years now. So guess what? I create a life that it's the lifestyle that I created, and I love it. And obviously there's more and more, there's always more. So I love doing it, and I'm always doing it. So this is kind of like my thing now. So there's no other way. There's no going back now.
Fantastic. William, what do you think?
Well, I first off, I have to say I have seen El Patron's show. I've seen yours. Obviously, I'm sitting here right now, and some of the others, Brad. And also, I would love to have my first name be Hero. I just wanted to make mention of that. Because Bill is kind of boring. Hero would get a lot of attention. But in any case, we don't, our production values. We don't really have. We do a lot by text. We have a group Facebook site, but what I try to do in this format is not be. We don't want to promote anything, right? So we don't promote vendors. We don't promote a particular platform, third-party vendor. We don't bring vendors. Ian, Jeff, you guys have been on, so one of our credos is we don't have vendors come on, join the group for the purpose of selling their wares. Because in my opinion, there's going to be there's going to be people on there that don't necessarily either believe in that particular model, or they use a different product, and we don't want them to feel like they're getting sold. I would rather have it be by attraction than promotion. That was my only must do on this. And although I lead the group, my only goal in all of it, really truthfully, is I'm doing this for 35 years. This business, like El Patron said, I came from the other B in New York, the Bronx, and I grew up in a very poor family, 9 brothers and sisters. My dad shoveled coal for a living. I worked in the city school shoveling coal, stripping floors. When I got in the car business, what I did notice was that I had a good work ethic from shoveling coal and stripping floors. But a lot of people at that time in our business in the early 80s didn't have a good work ethic. They would just, they had a good line of shit, as they say. And, that's how they survived. And our business has become much more of a business. So the one thing I will do, and I try to impress upon people, if I'm willing to outwork you. That's the one thing I was willing to do. Maybe I wasn't the smartest guy when I got in the business, but I was willing to outwork you. And I found myself moving past people who were probably smarter than me, had a better education than me, but I was willing to outwork them, as I still am today. What I'm finding out after 35 years of doing this is my work is more about, taking a step back, admitting I don't know everything, because when you're younger, you think you do, until you find out you don't know what you don't know. And the older I got, the more I found out I didn't know, which enabled me to know more than I did before. And so I try to be part of as much that I can, like this, and dealer advisory boards, and in any way, shape, or form I can, not to promote myself, to get as much information as I can so that everybody that I can possibly impact, if their career gets better, if their life gets better through hashtag level up or anything else that we do, it automatically attracts people to us. If we can make their quality of life better in their own homes, with their own families, with their kids, better shoes, better cars, better jewelry, more whatever it is, there's a feeling of self-worth that makes a very strong bond between you and those people, whether they ever work for you or whether they don't. But that's the brand that's what I want my brand to be. I want my brand to be a person that helps facilitate other people at this point in my career. It's not that I really particularly need a whole lot in my life right now. So I'm trying to push it all in the other direction and take it in all at the same time, if you will. And by having a group that we have 50 members now, and they're from insurance to you guys with this show and Brad on the fixed ops side. I mean, we just have all sorts of people. We have Sandy, we have Tom Klein, we have all these different people. We've had pro football players come on and talk about their journeys and their experiences. We've had rock and rollers. We had people not even in the car industry. Just talk about the journey of, struggling, picking yourself back up, gathering more information, humbling yourself to learn, listening more than you talk, which for us in the car business is very hard to do. But I subscribe to a lot of what I've heard from everyone. I watch El Patron a lot, and I dig his story because, but first of all, we both live in the Big Apple. But more importantly, we come from very, very similar, humble beginnings.
Yep.
And at one point in my life, and it sounds like in his too, we had our family and we had the man above. That's all we had. And at some point, you got to realize it's going to be about the work. It's not the four-letter word called work. To get to that big word called success. So the opportunity to have a somewhat of a show and bring people together to see them do the same thing is the most rewarding part. So I love it. And I love this forum. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Brad. Can't hear you.
Unmute.
So I snapped a picture of Bill and texted to our text group and said, "Hey, look at this sexy beast." So that's the first thing I did when I was on here, just because we're kind of like a family on the Level Up crew. So the most important thing about the thing that we do on Clubhouse is just real-time feedback, right? Real-time issues, real-time feedback, and it kind of helps me keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on the fixed up side of stuff. And that's so important because you can go from digital dealer to driving sales, and by the time you go to the next one, things have changed so drastically, and they have to submit their presentations 3 or 4 months beforehand. Things can change in that little time period, right? Who would have thought would have been in this inventory crisis? I'm not complaining because I'm a fix ops guy and it's great for me, but it's not great for the sales side, right? And fix ops isn't sexy like the sales side. So my goal is to crowdsource, to find issues, to bring up solutions, bring people on the show that can bring solutions, and really solve things in real time. And we have about 50 to 75 people on a week. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it depends on who the guest is. We do deep dives on Google My Business. We do real quick tactics, right? So very tactical, very let's find a solution. There's a lot of guys in there that are that's been in the business for a long time that have good recruiting ideas. I know the two biggest issues in fix ops right now is recruiting, right? Is technician recruiting, and how to take the internal ROs out of the shop to provide more bays for customer pay. Those are the two biggest things that we face right now. So out of the Clubhouse room, we came up with a technician white paper on some recruiting, and we started working on products around both of those things. So it's helped our company. It helps the people that's in there, and then people just get connected and they have resources to go to. That's the most important thing, is just networking and having someone, if you don't know the answer, having someone you can ask. And that's what it's all about, is giving back, bringing solutions, as Fred would say, and connecting people and helping people level up, as Bill's show does. And Michael's like the godfather that's been doing this for forever, bringing people together. So I think that's a common thread through all these shows.
Thanks for that, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Some great input here. Bill, I have to say, I loved your comment there. Getting a whole bunch of car people to listen and stop talking is probably the biggest benefit of these shows. That's quite the thing. And of course, you all agree that the AutoHub show is pretty awesome, and your shows are fantastic. But other than your own shows and other than ours, what shows do you find a great value to viewers? And I'm going to hit Rudy up for that, El Patron.
I mean, I tune into Fred as much as I could, but he has some quirky ass hours. Fucking midnight, he's up live, and I'm trying to go to sleep, and he's live yelling and screaming, and my wife's like, "Turn that shit off, you had it all day." But he has good stuff there. I do listen to Rise and Grind in the morning with Glenn Lundy on my way to the gym. He has a lot of good stuff. That guy has a lot more energy than all of us put together. I don't know how he finds it at 5 a.m. I mean, I'm energetic, right? And I have this big time, I'm big on energy, but he beats us. He's very energetic. And I listen to his show in the morning on my way in and just kind of get a little, pump up. And he does that. So he's one of the guys that I listen to a lot. And Fred, I tune in and I go live with them in the morning. It's just a schedule. I know they're working and they're just trying to get it done, because sometimes you just have to get it done, right? Regardless of the hours. That's the show I watch.
Perfect, thank you. So is it true that you train with Mark Wahlberg at 5 in the morning?
Who, me?
Fred, we'll throw it over to you, Fred. What other shows do you find a great value?
Wow, I mean, there's a few. Rise and Grind, obviously. Dealer Playbook, you have to go with Dealer Playbook, right? And just because I have to honor him, man, that's really one of the ones that motivates me. Like there's a few people, I think about El Patron. El Patron had his El Patron show, and I remember when he was hitting that up, it was so cool. He had a stage, he had his whole thing, and a lot of props got to go to El Patron for me, because honestly, he talks about that branding, and the courage that I got to do it was a lot to do with watching El Patron. Before I became his friend, or I was a fan, like a fangirl, right? I was like, oh my God, El Patron, right? So because he was so cool, this dude is just he's doing everything. He's not scared to put out content. He's not scared to show you what he's doing with his family, showing love and doing all these things. You're like, wow. So when I do things, it doesn't make me, I could look at him and be like, I'm not doing enough, right? I can keep doing more. Then you have Glenn Lundy, of course, same thing. Michael Cirillo, because he brings in heat. You saw all those name drops that he talked about. Those are some important people that we can learn a lot from if you just hear that knowledge. So, I mean, and there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, honestly, there's been some that came and disappeared, but they were good. You got Sean Welsh. Love his show. Oh my God. He kills it. He's just got a really good passion, and I love what he does with his weekly posts, and when he's outdoors and he's showing you, he does things that are unique, and you almost don't see it as a car thing, but when you listen to it, it's heat, it's fire. So there's a lot of people out there. Your show, I love this. Look at this format. This is a really cool format here, and I absolutely think I dig it, and I'm glad to be here and honored to be here. But going on Clubhouse, you can go all day about shows on Clubhouse too. I've actually I wish I had more time for Clubhouse. I work a full-time job in between my shows and stuff, but Clubhouse is a lot of fun. I love going on there and just every once in a while when I feel like I need a little pick me up, or maybe I feel like I need a little something to learn, I go on there, look for a nice room and hit it real quick, listen, and you might even be able to add in. So it's a confidence builder. It's a lot of things. So it's really hard to pinpoint one or two or even three. There's just so many amazing people out there trying to change this business right now. And I'm excited to be in this business right now. I think that we're at a good time, and I love that I could throw some heat out there and do a little spark myself, So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Just a little bit of everything. If you're one of those people who love this business, everybody can give you value. You just got to pay attention to what they're doing. Even if it's not all of it, get a little bit of it, So, mad respect to everybody that's in here right now. I love this, from Brad to, you all, El Patron, Michael. I could keep going and going. The post that people out, Sandy's dance, was it your Dance Wednesdays? You know what I'm saying? She knows what's going on. We're going to have to hit that up here in a second. Right. So, but no, and
you got to get music. The first couple of seconds, we got to get a little music because you're dancing, but there's no music.
Everybody's always like, "What are you listening to?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
we got to get the music. Either
right
you
here,
have it
it's
on
in
your
my heart.
AirPods or something.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna change it up.
Put a
I'm
little
gonna
music at the beginning so
I'm
we
gonna
get the rhythm.
I'll
You know
get
what
the
I'm saying?
music going so you guys know what's up. Then you guys can flow.
Exactly.
All right, I'm with you. Hey, this is what I'm talking about. I'm learning from the best. Learning from the best.
That, Fred.
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Oh, we
there's
missed
a comment.
that.
No comment from Sandy.
Oh, Fred's frozen. With the big. Oh no, he's not. He's just a big smiler. Michael, we'll throw it to you. You've been quiet for a long time, so what shows do you think are pretty outstanding?
You know what? I'm going to have to echo what Fred was saying. There's so many, and kind of, just full transparency, a very heartwarming thing for me is to see how many change agents have risen in the last decade in this industry. When I launched this iteration of the dealer playbook back in 2014, I was like, man, it'd be awesome if more people got on this train. I didn't feel that the Shark Tank of the car business where we're like, oh no, nobody else better do a podcast or else I'm gonna have to go out there and tell them I'm the first and this. No, my thought was around, man, if I'm feeling this way, there's got to be others. And so it's heartwarming for me to see Jeff and Ian and Brad, El Patron, Fred, Bill, Sandy, just people that are creating with the intent to help other people live their preferred experience. So I want to leave it there because I think that sometimes we can pat each other's backs a little bit too much. Just know that I'm patting your backs. I think it's tremendous what all of us are doing. But I would say for those on the call who aren't creating content and sharing their message, do it because we need more voices. We need more voices perpetuating the positivity, and doing it in your own unique way. Don't go, oh, hey, Michael does the dealer playbook and his is interview. I got to do that. If I don't do that, like that's the gold standard. By the way, I am not nearly old enough to be the Godfather. Okay. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm not nearly, I know there's a little gray coming in here, but and my 8-year-old daughter's concerned about that. She thinks dad's going to die soon. I'm not quite old enough to.
So you're not the guy that knows everything about the car business, eh?
No, well, and by the way, the side kind of purpose of the second purpose of creating the dealer playbook was for selfish reasons. You see, I had struggled for over a decade with severe suicidal depression. And as I was coming out of that, one of the most valuable lessons I learned from a mentor was that success breeds success.
Uh-huh.
So my selfish desire was to get around other successful people. Those people that listen to the show, by the way, when I say I take ferocious notes when I'm interviewing people, right? So that's kind of the selfish thing, was getting around other successful people to be to get inside of their brain and extract as much information as I possibly could so that I could live my preferred experience in life. What good is the car industry if we can't use it as a vehicle, no pun intended, to live our preferred experience in life? And so I want to say mad props and kudos to everybody in this industry that is doing away with the I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. And they're just getting out there and they're sharing positivity and messages that will in some way, shape, or form have a positive impact on somebody else's life. We do rise together, but we don't rise by lifting others. We rise by lifting one another. And so that's what I got to say. So I'm grabbing nuggets from El Patron and from Brad and from Fred. Other shows that have nothing to do with the car business that bring me value. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Sometimes you just need some chewing gum for the brain. And by the way, on that note of creation, listen to other shows. Don't just get ideas from automotive shows. Go out and get ideas from other shows out there and say, I like the way they did that. Ooh, I like the way they did that. That's where some of my best ideas have come, just from basically stealing other people's stuff. I'm like the best plagiarizer. I take it and I change it by 10%. I put my spin on it, and then you run with it, and it becomes your own. So
Hey, Michael, I want to bring something up that's hilarious that you just said. So, so Clubhouse, right? Me and another guy named Eric Hall from Classic Chevy got into this barbecue room, and so we came up with this idea that at Digital Dealer in Orlando, this lady was on Barbecue Pitmasters. We're gonna partner with Digital Dealer to have her come show how to grill on Saturdays.
I love that.
And so it's like totally different. Where hey, you gotta go outside of, you need to look outside. The Godfather of all podcasts that you could say pretty much would be like Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
Like his style. So I look at what he does and the people that he has on, and 1 week we just had consumers come into the Fix Stops room and answer questions about servicing cars. We had 4 different people that had nothing to do with the car business, and dealers just ask them questions for like it went on for 2 hours. They just asked questions. So I think you're spot on, man. Everybody needs a friend, and we got to quit looking at things through our own lens, right?
Dude, none of us are good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
By ourselves. We all need each other. Look at me. When I was born, the doctor went, "Whoa, hope he has a voice for radio."
You do. You're good.
Jeez. Hope he has good ideas.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we have a question here from Bob Bell, which asked, how are your shows impacting the vendor marketing side of the industry versus the dealership and the dealer principal, GM, GSM, fixed op manager, and service directors? Bill, we'll throw that to you. You've been quiet for a while. I see you doing paperwork or taking notes.
Oh, listen. I'm listening. It's good. It's great stuff. Well, we don't have like a big production. In fact, I did want to mention, you guys that have these cool studios with the boom mics, you got to send me the address for the guy who does that for you, because I'm just sitting here in a plain old office screaming at my PC.
His name's Jeff Bezos. Amazon.com.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to space tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to be away for 2 days, though. I can't get in touch with him.
If he comes back.
If he comes back.
Yeah, exactly. So, what we do in our format is we have vendors. We invite everybody. There's no like out of bounds. We have vendors. We have a couple of salespeople. We have F&I managers. We have sales managers. All the way up. We have dealers. We have owners. We have specialty people like Brad and several others. But Sandy's on the call. Tom Klein's in risk management. We have we have Jason Barry from Digital Airstrike, some of his people. And we do that because we want to hear one of the things in the business we don't really get to see sometimes, or in life. We understand things from our own perspective, right? So unfortunately, our behavior is a byproduct of our own experiences and our own perspective. Might our behavior change in a positive way if we understand the perspective of other people and their life experiences as well? Because it makes it easier to relate to people if you understand people. I couldn't honestly say I'm the best car guy on the planet. I've done well. I would say the thing that this business has taught me is I get a much better understanding of people. And I think that just being around all the different vendors, all the different, go to every event you can go to, get on every podcast you can. And we encourage that in our group. I don't have a proprietary right to anybody that shows up on our Zoom meetings. They have proprietary rights to their own thinking. I have proprietary rights to my ability to change their thinking in a positive way. That I have, but I think the most important thing is, for me, is it being strictly for the purpose of attracting them, not promoting to them. I have no desire to become a podcast, multimillionaire. I have no desire to, some of the other people on here, my success, the thing that really, when I'm 85 years old, here's what I know. If I need a job as a swap guy, I'll know 1,000 people that'll give me one. Okay. And I don't want to be a swap guy at 85, but my point is, I don't, just by working with other people and helping other people become better at what they do and imparting the information that helps them get to where I've already been to, it makes it a lot easier to have people follow your lead with a, you know, put blinders on, or follow you blindly, as the saying goes, if they know you've been there. If you're talking, you know, excuse the expression, a New York expression, out your ass, or off the top of your head, look, everybody can check you out in 5 minutes. They can check you out in 30 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. If you haven't hung up some numbers, if you haven't been to the well, if you haven't failed, tell people about your failures. We do that. Tell them about your failures. Tell them about what you learned in your failure, and tell them where you got the corrected answer from, and then tell people where it has you now. And people love that. You know, they love the journey explanation, experience, strength, and hope explanation of where life takes you, because none of us are perfect. And that's, you know, we have a saying on our group, and Jeff and Ian probably remember this. It's toothbrush and baseball hats, right? And why is that? Because we started the group early on Sunday mornings, and a lot of the females and some of the guys that are very particular about their hair didn't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and be on a Zoom call because they had too much of Saturday night. So our saying is, we don't care how I usually show up in a tank top. You know, I have tattoos and I don't look like I look right now by a long shot. But now, so we went to, listen, put on a baseball hat, brush your teeth, and get on the video call. No excuses. And we get great attendance by just being regular people. That's what we're after. No, it's not more complicated than that. Just share the information.
Thanks very much. We have a question from Cedric Jean-Louis. What are the biggest climaxes or mistakes when making a successful business in the automotive industry? So I guess he's not from the industry. I don't know. Who wants to run with it? Don't all speak at once.
Can you repeat the question?
Repeat it.
Yeah, what were the biggest climaxes or mistakes when making a successful business in the automotive industry?
Wow.
How much time do we have?
Well, we got 15 minutes.
Here's what I would say, and this is just from my own vantage point. The sooner you can engage your people, so I'm speaking from a leadership perspective right now, the sooner that you, as the leader, not the boss, not the manager, can show through stewardship, go look up that word, we don't use it enough in the business, pull out the best of them. As a leader, we're not responsible for our team members' happiness. We are responsible to create an environment where happiness can be something they experience daily. And when we do that, all of a sudden it removes this pressure of several things that plague the industry, 30-day cycles. It allows our people to start focusing on real people, how real people move. Consumers don't move in 30-day cycles. They're not, when I just purchased a vehicle, I didn't say, well, it's the first of the month, by the 31st, I must have this vehicle. We don't work that way. And so I guess ultimately the crux of where I'm going is, the sooner we can create an environment where people show care for other people as people, to be good people, to go out and do good things, the snowball effect of that is tremendous. I've seen that happen in my business. I'm seeing it happen in other people's business. And by the way, if it wasn't true, you wouldn't see guys like El Patron and Fred and Glenn Lundy and all of these people. They don't go to sales for Alex Flores. They don't go to sales first. They go to people first. Have you noticed that? So if this wasn't true, you wouldn't see somebody like Alex Flores, who goes from 200 units a month to almost 800. You wouldn't see that happen. You would see you would see this long, drawn out process of years and years of minutia and trying to figure out how to jump through hoops to make. No, but it's true. So it works. So that's the first thing I would say, is the faster we can focus on people than our people, with their collective wisdom, life experience, vantage points, can create this movement, this entity that is a force for good in the community. And when you do that, you stand up and you stand out in a much more powerful way and your competitors will have no clue what's happening.
Hey, I totally agree with that, Michael. I'll give you a personal testimony. So I started with Fixed Ops Digital in February, right? and I'm notoriously a sales guy, and was with the agency for 4 years before that. And I was in the trenches with the agency. I wasn't selling, and so when I came back on the sales side of stuff, I got away from that helping people for that first initial month. Right? I was just so excited. I got caught up in the product. I got caught up in everything, and the first month was rough. And then I realized it, and I was able to self-assess, which I think is a really, really, really important skill, is to be honest with yourself, be self-aware. And I had a conversation with Damian Boudreaux, who is one of my mentors, and we had a conversation, and he said, just get back to helping people. And so I stopped asking, hey, do you want to do a demo? And I started asking, hey, what problem do you have that you can't solve? Because then I can rely on my network to help that person solve that problem. And then it just blew up from there. So I think once you always have to remember, all these sales tricks, all these sales closes, all that stuff is good to have in your toolbox, but you always have to get back to helping people, and you always got to get back to solving problems. And because they require the same transparency from us on the vendor side as the customers do of the dealerships. And I think we have to remember that.
Love that. Fred?
Wow, I mean, it's all so true. Talking with Michael, people, being about the people. When you make decisions, as a salesperson, my first, I'd say 3 years, I got taught how to be a hard closer, manipulate, do everything you can to get them to do what you wanted to. And I did okay, but it was very inconsistent. I remember that. So when you start focusing on people and really their problem, like Brad's talking about, when you ask them, hey, what is really the issue that I can help? Because people have a guard up because you don't ask those questions. As salespeople, we tend to do like I did the first 3 years, do everything you can and make them say yes, right? And whether it's lying and promising them 2 more cylinders later on the WIO, right? Whatever you had to do to sell them a car, you would do it. And it was ridiculous. But the moment that I decided, hey, I'm not selling cars anymore, I'm solving transportation problems, it completely changed like a switch in my head. Like at first I remember laughing, going, transportation problems, okay, I get it. And then I really thought about it, and I was like, hold on. Now it feels fulfilling. So you're not feeling manipulative anymore. You're feeling like you're helping people. Now because you are. They come to you because they have an issue. They need a vehicle. They're like, hey, they're scared to death. The last time they went in, they were there for 5-6 hours. The person left them, came back, manager came in, did this, and at the end of it, they still felt like they got ripped off, right? And they may even got the best deal in the world, but they felt like it because they felt like they had to go through all kinds of a process that was so ridiculous, not transparent, where people didn't care about what they really wanted. The moment you flip that switch and you start worrying about what people want, whether it's your team, all of it, not whether it's with your team, with your clients, with your leaders, with their families. It gets deep. All that stuff. And even people you don't sell, the ones that come in, you can't help. And all you do is you give them a path to purchase, what I always call it. I'm going to give you a path to purchase. I got great news for you. I can help you. But if you can come up with this much money down, work on your job for another 2 more months, get that job time in, make sure you work 40 hours a week. I have a consistent paycheck stub. I can get you bought. That is something that most people don't do, but that's because I believe I'm helping people. I'm not doing it because of money. I'm going to make money. Trust and believe. I do this business because there's money in this business, but it's because I do it the right way. And I do it very consistent, and I work my butt off. So that's, as a business person, that is what you do. Work always comes into play. You have to put the work in. Faith without works is dead, right? So to have that faith, you have to keep working hard. You work hard, it will come to you. Everything that you ever could imagine, dream of, will come to you, but you have to put the work in, but you have to care about the people. And above all, that's just the way it goes. You have to be that way. And I think that's just called being a good human. And that's business, that's life, that's everything. So yeah, man, great stuff, guys.
El Patron or Bill, what do you think?
El Patron, jump in there, brother.
Yes, sir. Sorry about it. Same question?
Yeah, just curious.
Look, it's true what Fred says, right? It's about helping people, but if you want to be happy, right, then happy is a big word, right? So success, to some people, success could be a bunch of money. To me, success is having my family together, you know what I'm saying, on a Sunday and going to church. But people look at you and sometimes, yeah, they see the glory, but they don't see the story. They don't want to know the story, right? And unfortunately, we're judgmental creatures, and that's just how life is, and you got to be able to block out the naysayers, and because they put it down on themselves just because they can't do it. And you know how many times people say they can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like, okay, watch me do it, and I go ahead and do it 10 times better. So that positive, I'm always about positivity. People come to me with negative stuff, and now I have an open door policy, for everybody. And sometimes we talk about some deep stuff, man, that these guys are going through, and you to be there, not because I know better, not because, but they see me as their leader, and they see me that I'm going to guide them the right direction, doing the right thing by them. And sometimes, their head is not here because they have girl problems and this and that, and they come into my office, and I can tell, I'm like, okay, sit down. What's wrong? Talk to me. What is it? If you're there as a human just to listen to them, it's not just about how many cars you're going to sell today, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. You have to have a persona, and you have the show, and yeah, you got to be positive and stuff like that. But when it gets down to it, they see you behind the camera, and they want to know that you are relatable to them, right? Because they see you here. They want to get to that level, but discipline, and I try to teach them all those things that, look, hard work, it's going to pay off, but you're going to have to put in the time. Like, and so people are so stuck in their titles, they want to be GM and GSM and directors. I'm like, forget about the title, man. Just sell cars, do what you got to do. But I believe that to be a leader, you have to be able to relate to them, the stuff that you go through, and maybe just give them a different, perspective, because they might not see it the way, right? Because you can't see you can't see the label inside the bottle, right? And sometimes they come here, and I give them a different perspective, or I tell them, listen, take the day off, go and do this or do that, and they come back, and that's how the guys stay loyal to you, because they know that you care for them, right? And my retention is pretty strong here because of that culture that I create here. It's, and they lost it, right, for a year, and the difference you see, just not only in the numbers, but even the staff is almost different. And now it's like, okay, everybody's back to normal with doing the numbers. And when you create that team effort, and I posted some, I said, right, people win games, right, but teams win championships. And I always put it as a team, and I always say, look, the quarterback's the quarterback, right? Play your position, do what you got to do. So don't try to be a quarterback if you're not a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So stay in your lane, do what you got to do your numbers, and you'll be fine. Do the right thing by the customer. And I think a lot of us are sharing that out there, right? For the ones that are online and social media. And I think that's why I get a lot of people that stay loyal with me, and they know what I'm about, because the show is one thing, right? The El Patron is the brand, and that's what bringing the customers, and everybody comes in asking for El Patron. But then there's Rudy, right? And a lot of people don't get to know Rudy because, I put up those walls because we're in the car business, and not everybody has good intentions. We all use each other, right? But to my people, they know me as Rudy. They don't call me El Patron. In my house, I'm not allowed to be called that. My kids, my wife would not allow them. I wrote a book, and she would not read it. I had a pastor in my house yesterday. They want to get a copy of my book. And the pastor asked my wife, he's like, hey, how's the book? He's like, I will never read it. It's like, I lived the whole life. Like, there's no reason for me to read it. She's like, it's my story, So, yeah, she will not read my book. So I have this office, and she knows, listen, this was paying the bills, and I get it. Your whole brand thing, your whole El Patron. But to us, you're always going to be Rudy, So I think that to separate that, and even to get the guys to know you, I know these guys personally. I take them out, I walk them through the stuff that they're going through. And I think if you do that, they'll do the rest, man. If you take care of them, if you know that you work for them instead of they're working for you, they'll take a bullet for you. And that's what it is. That beat up session, that stuff is over with. Like, I don't have negative meetings. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place, right? I reprimand them if they make mistakes, but most of the time it's like, hey, what can we do better? How much can we solve today? And that's what it's all about.
You see, this is a big difference between him and I, because my children only call me the godfather of podcasting. I'm kidding. Master, Lord Michael, but not the podcast.
Have to. I just have to. When you're talking about what your kids call you, my daughter we were away in the Caribbean, and we came across this bar, and it was called like El Jefe.
Yeah.
And from that day on, Chinel calls me Jefe.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and come on, Rudy. I mean, it'd be great if your kids called you and said, "Hey, El Patron, can I go over to Johnny's?"
Yeah, nah. My wife would not allow that.
No.
That's the real Patron. That's the real Patron.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that.
And even if you said yes, she'd probably say no, they can't. She'd overrule you.
Yeah, always.
Bill, you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I mean, I can all. It's very. I didn't invent the thought process. I mean, so many guys have put it very eloquently in their own words. But we can't. I think when you look at all, from my perspective, when you look at all of it, right? Bill Parcells once said, if even a B plan worked to perfection becomes an A plan, right? A plans suck if you don't have the right people and you can't execute.
Fine.
So, one of the things that I've really tried to make work on as a skill for myself, just my challenge to myself, was not to interview and hire people for experience, but to hire them for character. Because I can give people experience. They can gain experience over time. I can't give them character. I may be able to change it a little bit, but I can make quantum changes in experience. I cannot make quantum changes in character. So my strength is I can give them experience. So if I have someone with character that wants it badly enough to learn how to do it the right way, or learn how to do things in a detailed manner, or speak the Queen's English. I didn't come into the world with this accent. I come from the Bronx. We all talk like F and Rocky where I come. I got to work hard to get through that, because I want to appeal to the highest level of people. And I know there's a lot of blue-haired ladies from central Pennsylvania that come in here to buy cars. They wouldn't dig me sounding like Goodfellas. They just wouldn't dig it. So I try to speak the most crisp, clear form of English that I can. I teach that to my people, as odd as that might sound. And it's become me. I didn't come into the world with a suit with my name embroidered in it. I had to learn how to be that guy, because none of it mattered. What we think of ourselves, it really doesn't matter. It's what the customers think about us that really matters at the end of the day, what our employees think about us. And if we can get them to portray that same desire to be what the customers want to see, not give them everything they want, but be what they want to see when they walk in, it just enhances our chances of being successful. My greatest success is going back to the guy's original question, Cedric, I think, quite honestly, my greatest successes have come from something that somebody else said, is establishing those relationships. When I first got into business, I wanted everything now. I wanted the $5,000 deal. I wanted the big commission. I wanted to get the rings. I wanted to get the Rolex. I wanted it all right now, right? And because of that, I missed the big picture, and I wasn't growing anywhere. So I had to fail a couple of times so that I would take a step back and say, okay, what did I miss? What did I not do? Who am I not listening to? And now I try to kind of share that same information with people that are trying to make their way too. Because when you get up in the morning, you got to think about it. You look in the mirror. Whatever you put on, however you do your hair, however you shave your face or not, says something to the people that are staring at you across your desk every day, or on the Zoom meeting, as it were. And I think from wherever we stand, if we teach our employees, if we can be good for people, not just good to them. People with bad character, they want us to be good to them. People with good character want us to be good for them. That's why I want those people. And that's what's helped me, in my successes and in my failures to get to the next level. And that's my one word of wisdom that I would share with everybody. Make it about people's character, not about their experiences. We all get the retreads that come in, and I did this, and I got a letter for that, and I got this trophy. Okay. Once you get past all that, okay, now let's talk about who you really are. That's what I'm interested in. And who do you really want to be? And I guess that would be my version of my answer. But great topic.
And can I say that I absolutely am glad I showed up today, because I haven't met you before, and man, you've been dropping I've been writing a lot of notes about what you wrote down, man, what you've been saying. So wow, thank you for being here, man. You're amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to connect with you. Thank you for dropping that.
You as well.
And we're out of time. Any final thoughts? Great thoughts. Jeff.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. What a great show. This was very enjoyable, and some super people on, and people I've been following for a long time. And Rudy, you know, it's nice to see you're known as Rudy, not just El Patron.
Thanks,
and Fred.
Well, to you, El Patron, all right?
Okay, El. Brad, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And like Bill said, Michael and Fred, I need to know where you get your boom mics from, and forget Amazon. We gotta get a great setup here. And when you get your voice and you can talk like this, that's just tremendous stuff.
I definitely, one thing that's for sure, like Michael was talking about, is that, us guys doing this, we want other people who want to do this and want to get better and I'm happy to answer anything. I want to show you whatever I've learned by myself or through other people and things like that. So we just get better together. So let's keep rising, man. That's good stuff. If you want to know how to get these mics, just hit me up, man. They're easy, but they're on Amazon. But this is a Rode mic.
You guys should do a joint venture, you and Mike, on like all the kit, like a podcasting kit.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That'd be a great show. How to start a podcast. Fred, you should do that on the show. How to get the whole kit and everything. You know what I mean?
I would totally do that.
If people don't want to get started, I would watch that, because I don't even have. I do everything from my iPhone, guys. Just so you know. I don't have fancy stuff like Fred does.
I wanna hire Fred and Mike to do voiceovers. Make all my phone calls for me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. If I had their voices when I was in high school, I would have went on dates constantly.
You should make an Amazon wish list, Fred. You and Mike should make an Amazon wish list and then share it with everybody.
Okay, I'll do that. A good call, Brad. That's a great call. I'll make that happen.
But you want
if you have a list, we can definitely post it on the site. Not a problem.
Okay. Michael had the radio face.
That's what I do.
Some of us have got TV face. Some of you guys got radio faces. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
That's why my show's on Clubhouse.
I just lean into it. I
don't know. I think
face.
Fred's pretty good looking, man. You notice that perfectly coiffed little white
people say, "Do you do that on purpose?" I was like, "No, I was just born this beautiful. It just happens."
You used to see him in person. His sneaker game is crazy. He has this crazy thing for sneakers.
I do. Appreciate that, Patron. Patron be watching Gucci. That's all you. If you see him, it's Gucci. Gucci or some Burberry. One.
I'm about that life, bro. What do you want to do? It's a lifestyle.
Hey, I ain't mad at him. Looks good.
Guys, I had an amazing time in the show, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting for me. Have a rocking day, guys. Let's sell some fucking cars.
Do it.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Take care and be successful. We'll see you all soon. Thank you.
All right, yeah. Take care.
Love you guys.
Thank you,
Fred.
All right,
take care.
Thank you very much.
Godfather, take care.
Take care.
Ciao.